It was a Saturday morning, the kind that felt like a gift sun streaming through the windows, the smell of pancakes lingering in the air, and the soft clatter of magnetic tiles as 9-year-old Noah built a spaceship in the Lee room. His mom, Clara Bennett, sipped her coffee, watching him with a smile. Noah, with his sharp mind and infectious laugh, moved through the world with leg braces that clicked rhythmically, a sound as familiar to Clara as her own heartbeat. His cerebral palsy slowed his steps, but never his spirit. They had their routine, breakfast, maybe a slow walk to the park if Noah's energy was up. These mornings were their sanctuary. Then came the knock. Polite, almost timid, but it hit Clara like a thunderclap. She opened the door to find two strangers on her porch, a woman with a weary, kind face clutching a clipboard, and a man whose blank expression unnerved her. Their badges gleamed. Child Protective Services. Clara's stomach dropped. "Clara Bennett?" the woman asked, her voice gentle but firm. "I'm Lisa Carter, and this is James Reed. We're with CPS. May we come in? We've received a report about your son, Noah." The words didn't make sense. A report? About Noah? Clara's mind, usually a steel trap from years as CPS's Director of Internal Investigations, went blank. She was the one who hunted lies, sniffed out fraud, and disciplined caseworkers for crossing lines. Now her own agency was at her door, accusing her of what? Neglect? Harm? Her heart pounded as she let them in, her movements stiff, like she was sleepwalking through a nightmare. Noah looked up, his smile fading at the strangers' serious faces. "Mom, who are they?" he asked, voice small. Clara forced a grin. "Just some folks with questions, buddy. Show 'em your spaceship, okay?" But as Lisa and James sat down, their questions cut like knives. Noah's medical care, his schooling, their daily life. Clara answered with the precision of a seasoned investigator, detailing Noah's therapy, his mainstream third-grade class where he thrived, the specialists at the children's hospital. Yet every word felt like a betrayal, as if she were justifying her love for her son to intruders. When they asked to speak to Noah alone, Clara's chest tightened. She stood in the kitchen, fists clenched, straining to hear the murmur from the Lee room. What were they asking him? How was her sensitive, perceptive boy handling this? After what felt like forever, Noah emerged, eyes wet, lip trembling. "They asked if you ever yell at me, Mom," he whispered, grabbing her hand. "If I get enough food, if my braces hurt too much." Clara hugged him tight, rage simmering beneath her shock. Someone had done this. Someone had weaponized her own system against her. Once the caseworkers left, promising to follow up, Clara's composure shattered. She sank onto the couch, pulling Noah close, his familiar scent grounding her. Who could be so cruel? Her mind raced. A fired co-worker, maybe Tom Grayson, a caseworker she'd reprimanded for sloppy work. He'd grumbled about her ivory tower ways, knew she was a single mom. Or maybe an old case rival, but not as felt personal, targeted at Noah's vulnerabilities. Then a name slithered into her thoughts, Diane Marshall. Diane was the queen of their HOA, a suburban dictator with perfectly styled hair and a smile that never reached her eyes. Clara had moved to Willow Grove for Noah, a quiet, accessible neighborhood where he could thrive. Most neighbors were kind, but Diane was a thorn. 6 months ago, she'd confronted Clara about Noah's adaptive tricycle, calling it an eyesore and a hazard on the sidewalk. Clara had stood her ground, citing ADA laws, but Diane's petty attacks escalated. Anonymous notes about their ADA-compliant ramp, snide comments about Noah's noisy braces, vandalism of Noah's little garden patch. Clara had no proof, but Noah had seen Diane glaring at his flowers hours before they were destroyed. This CPS report reeked of Diane's Venoma-calculated strike to rip Noah away. But suspicion wasn't EVY Denke. Clara knew better than anyone that pulling her own case file would be a firing offense. So, Monday morning, she called her best investigator, Michael Chun. "Mike, I need a favor," she said, voice steady despite the storm inside. "Off the record, someone filed a fake report against me and Noah. I need to know who." Mike, usually unflappable, was stunned but agreed to dig discreetly. The wait was torture. Clara buried herself in work, but every phone call made her jump. Every email spiked her pulse. She imagined Noah enduring more interviews, his school dragged into this mess. Tuesday afternoon, Mike appeared, face grim. The report came through the hotline Friday night, he said. Vague but loaded with buzzwords. Neglect, unsafe home, unsupervised said child, unexplained injuries. It triggered a mandatory investigation. The caller? A woman, voice distorted, but the intake worker noted she sounded scripted, using terms like failure to thrive, stuff a regular person wouldn't know. Clara's blood ran cold. Noah's occasional bruises from his braces, a scraped knee from recessed twisted into injuries. And that scripted tone? Diane was meticulous, a planner. Mike, Clara said, eyes blazing, pull the hotline audio. I know it's risky, but I need to hear it. Mike hesitated, then nodded. I'll send it to your private email. Listen at home. That night, with Noah asleep, Clara played the file through headphones. The voice was muffled, artificially high, but its cadence, the nasal emphasis, the upward lilt was unmistakable. She'd heard it at countless HOA meetings, droning about community standards. It was Diane. Clara's certainty grew with each replay, the voice dripping with malice, lingering on Noah's disabilities as proof of neglect. But almost sure wasn't enough for court. Clara thought like Diane. Where would she research CPS protocols? The agency's public website, likely. Clara couldn't target Diane directly, but she could launch a broader review of malicious reports. She tasked Mike with analyzing recent unfounded cases for signs of manipulation, keyword stuffing, scripted calls, odd digital footprints. A week later, Mike struck gold. We found anonymous searches on the CPS portal just before the call, he said. Stuff like how to report neglect anonymously, keywords for CPS investigation, even penalties for false reporting. They traced to an IP at 24 Maple Lane, Agnes Wheeler's house. Agnes, the HOA treasurer, was Diane's loyal shadow. But she wasn't tech-savvy. More searches, routed through VPNs, came from a library computer Diane used. Then Mike found an email chain. Diane had tasked Agnes with researching child welfare regulations for the HOA, feeding her search terms that matched the portal queries. Diane had orchestrated it all, using Agnes as a shield while digging deeper from the library. Clara's anger was cold, sharp. She compiled the EVY IP logs, emails, the hotline audio, and took it to Detective Laura Pierce, who saw the case's weight immediately. They planned to confront Diane at the HOA's annual picnic, where she'd unveil a child's safety initiative, sick irony. The day was sunny, kids laughing, barbecue smoke in the air. Diane took the stage in a crisp dress, radiating smug authority, Agnes fidgeting behind her. Welcome, Willow Grove, she beamed, launching into a speech about protecting our community's character. Clara stood, heart pounding, and walked to the stage. The crowd hushed. Diane's smile faltered. Clara, this isn't the time for grievances, she snapped. Clara's voice was calm, but razor sharp. Oh, I think it is Diane. I have something to share about justice. She faced the neighbors. I'm Clara Bennett, Noah's mom, and for 10 years, I've worked for CPS, the last 5 as Director of Internal Investigations. I protect kids, not harm them. But someone filed a false report against me and my son, meant to tear us apart. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Diane paled. Clara's gaze locked on her. That report was a crime, a felony, wasting resources and traumatizing families. Through my team's work and the police, we found the source. She listed the EVY Denke, Agnes's IP, Diane's library searches, the hotline voice. And just now, Detective Pierce got warrants for your arrest, Diane for false reporting, conspiracy, obstruction, and child endangerment for the trauma you inflicted on my disabled son. Diane's face crumpled, her protests incoherent. Detective Pierce stepped forward, cuffs gleaming. Diane Marshall, you're under arrest. The crowd erupted shock, anger, relief. Agnes, sobbing, was led away for questioning. Diane's empire collapsed in humiliated silence. Diane pleaded guilty, facing years in prison, probation, and a restraining order. Agnes got probation for cooperating. The HOA transformed, electing inclusive leaders, scrapping discriminatory rules. Clara pushed CPS reforms to catch malicious reports, her resolve fiercer than ever. Noah, with therapy and love, thrived, his laughter echoing as he rode his tricycle. Willow Grove became a true community, scarred but stronger. Clara watched Noah race down the sidewalk, her heart full. The scars remained, but so did their strength. They'd won not just against Diane, but for a better world for Noah. What do you think? Did Diane deserve her punishment? Or was she just a misguided control freak? Should Clara have exposed her publicly, or kept it quiet to avoid drama? Could Agnes have stopped Diane, or was she too weak? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, and subscribe for more stories that make you think.